Welcome to the Riuwaka Resurgence. We'll head upriver and we'll get to it eventually. But I just wanted to, this is my first stop on my South Island tour. I haven't been here before, but I've seen a few images online and it looks pretty interesting. This stuff behind me looks really kind of cool. So I'll probably climb in the river and take some shots of the water and the rocks and the moss. We've got 3 weka around here with me. A mother, a father, and a chick. And they are just looking around looking for food. Curious in me to see what I'm up to. Anyway, on this visit, I wanted to talk a little bit about something I've been thinking about, and it's how to remember all the things you need to take care of. And so I came up with a bit of an acronym. It's V.I.B.E is the word, and you want to vibe with your scene, you want to vibe with your images, you want to vibe with your camera. The V is for Vibrance, which means you want color. Unless you're shooting black and white, but you're looking for the colors. You don't necessarily want lots of saturated colors, depends on your image, but you're looking for the color that you want for the scene. You're looking for the greens in this scene behind me, or the blues of the water. You're looking for color. I stands for illumination. You're looking for light, looking for, depending on the time of day, direct sunlight. You could be looking for shadow, you could be looking for golden hour, blue hour, but you're looking for light. B stands for balance. Balance in your image, balance in your colors, balance in your highlights and your shadows, balance in an image that makes you happy. And then the E stands for energy. So you want some energy in your photo. You want, how do you want the energy to look in your photo? It's not necessarily you need a lot of energy. It could be a very negative space image with no energy whatsoever. But what do you want for energy in your image? So V.I.B.E, V-I-B-E. I don't know. Let's see if it's going to help me see what we're going to look for here. All right, set up for my very first shot in the wilderness with the Panasonic Lumix S1R Mark II. Down in the river in the rocks, and what I want to do, I've got this boulder here, I've got this here, and I don't want those in my image. So no, don't sleep. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit to get rid of them. Turn my level on. Make some adjustments here to get it where I want. This is why I love a 3-way geared head, because I can just make some adjustments. I want to get some of that tree in. Got some moving clouds in the background, so my highlights are a little high in the background, but that's kind of what I'm going for. That's kind of what I'm going for right there. See about getting a polarizer on there, maybe a filter. All right, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit so that we can see when I put the polarizer on. That goes on, and then as I turn the polarizer, you can see what it's doing to the greens and doing to the reflection on the water. So I want to keep a little bit of the reflection on the water. That looks pretty good. We're at 1/2.5 of a second at f/16. Let's change down to f/11. Back button focus. Take the image. I need to raise it up a little bit. I don't like how that limb is partially cut off. So because it's partially cut off, we need to take that up a little bit. That's better. I'll take care of this down here in post. Let's take a look at that. We've got a little bit of streakiness in the water. That's nice. Looks like there's just a little bit of movement back here due to the wind. It's not much wind, but there's a little bit of a breeze. There's always a little bit of a breeze around a stream. But that looks really good. Happy with that. All right. So now let's speed up the water a little bit, a lot of bit, So let's turn the ISO up to about 500, and let's change our speed up to a 15th of a second. Same shot. Now we've got more action in the water. So I've got my color, talking about vibe, I've got my color, I've got my greens, lots of green. Talking about my eye. You know, my light here is looking good on the water, my light kind of in the background. Some light on the tops of these limbs of the trees. That's looking good. Balance. Dark, dark, light through the middle. I've got this nice leading line that's leading me through the scene. Got a frame with these limbs here, a frame with these boulders over here. That looks to be fairly balanced. And there's energy in this river, but I want to control that energy. So let's turn the f-stop up again to about 8. Let's change our shutter speed up a little higher. Let's refocus right there. Take that shot. We're gonna put on a 2-second timer. Try that again. Ooh, I gotta turn that 2-second timer beep off. That's annoying. New camera, you've always got different things you need to worry about. Okay, so now I've got a fast shot with the water. With that fast shot with the water, and what I always do is I take that and blend that in with a really slow shot in the water. So to get a slow shot, let's put on a 3-stop. We'll turn our ISO back down. The 3-stop filter. Turn our ISO back down to about 200. F-stop where it is, and let's take our shutter speed up to 1 second. We're still focused. All right, let's take a look at that. Oh, blew it out. We don't want it blown out, so let's take it down. Let's take our f-stop up just a little bit. Do it again. Full on 1 second shot. There we go. So now that streaky there, that'll get blended in with some of the fast action, and I'll get what I actually want to see. Well, that's my first shot with the Lumix S1R2, first scene out here in the wilderness. Let's see what we can find next on the trail. Well, what have we here? That looks like a dead drone. We'll fish that out. We'll see if we can get anything off of the SD card, see if we can return it to its owner. All right, I just came down this little trail right here. And now I've got my next scene set up, and it's just a little scene that's bracketed through some trees, not bracketed, framed by some trees, and it's just the river going by and the boulders. I'm gonna turn you back around and we'll show you what's going on the camera. Apparently it's going to sleep. All right, so back at the camera, just got the trees here on the sides framing out this flow. These rocks flow in the background. Again, if I'm looking at my vibe stuff, I got my color, I got my light, I've got balance, and I've got some energy. All right, polarizer on. Let's get rid of some reflections and get some green out. All right, so now f-stop, ISO up a little bit higher, 800. We're going to challenge the camera to see how well it can do. 60th of a second. We're underexposed by about a minute, but it's the water I'm looking for here. So all right, let's take a look at that. Okay, better on the glare, better on the color. Now let's drop the ISO back down to 100. Let's take our f-stop up to about f11, and we'll take our time down to half a second. Let's take a look. Some good flow. Cool, we'll blend those together in Photoshop. All right, scene number 3. Zoomed in pretty tight, 70 mil. We've got these boulders over here, trees here, and the sun is coming in from behind the scene. So there's lighting up these trees back here, these rocks. Let's take this back out to 50 mil or so. So yeah, we've got rocks, trees. I've got my vibrance, I've got my illumination, I've got my balance. This rock over here balances these. We've got the green through here. Got some energy. Tiny little waterfall coming down right there into this pool. So back to 70. Put the polarizer on and it's doing its job. Taking out some of the glare off the leaves, taking some glare off the water. Focus. 2-second timer. F11, 1/2.5. ISO 100. Underexposed so that that white doesn't blow out, so that these rocks here don't blow out. Let's take a look at that one. Zooming in. The cracks in the rocks look really sharp. That's sharp. The water is flowing. It's such a small feature, I'm not going to try to do multiple exposure on it. All right, here's the image. Riuwaka. This is a cave entrance to the spring that feeds the river, and it is considered sacred by Maui. Maui won't swim in there. However, there have been a couple of divers that went in the 60s and kind of tracked where it came from, and it splits off into lots of fractures inside Takaka. Hope you've enjoyed this video out here at Riuwaka Resurgence. I know I have. Yeah, the S1R2 is working beautifully. I will have in the future videos where I set it up against the S1R just to compare them and see how they do. I do appreciate you watching this one. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that other happy stuff from the YouTube algorithm. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.